Mine are 6 by 35 and 6 by 46. Your patterns are shorter than that. Is it just a simple matter of adding on? It can be if that's what you want. Mine are significantly longer too. I just like the look of it when it doesn't go all the way to the outside edge. And from a design point of view, they're already a little awkward because they're so long. But when you order them, you could request, there'll be an upcharge for the extra fabric that it takes, but you could order it with extra backing so that you could do them extra long. But I don't know, let me see if where can I find that image really quick? It's on one of my websites. It's on Cindy Gay Rug Cooking. I think it's on, let me see, shopping. I want to show you what they look like when they're a little bit short so that you've got a point of reference. Patterns. Okay, so this picture is probably the best. So let me come over here, take you guys over to this camera. Let me take this silly thing over here. And hopefully now, of course, I can't see what you guys are seeing right now. What did I do? I did something weird. Hopefully you can see this. If you can, notice the picture sort of in the middle at the upper top, how the stair risers don't go all the way to the edge. And I'm okay with that. Part of it was I wanted to be sure that this would fit the majority of stairs. I have no idea what you guys are seeing right now because my preview window, which is supposed to show all of that, has disappeared. Okay, that's a little bizarre. Oh, you're seeing a Zoom sign on. Okay. Oh, but you probably were seeing, I'm hoping. Were you all seeing the get my comments back over here. Hopefully you were seeing what you needed to see, and you could see that they were a little bit shorter, but I understand if you have them even wider. But it didn't look, I mean, I think I had like 6 inches on each side. I'm not sure what I'm going to have on these stairs. But we'll figure that out. But Jerry, I guess the answer to your question then that I kind of danced around was you can order them. Chris Miller draws my patterns and she draws them on demand, kind of a thing. So if you want it drawn so that there's extra room on that outside edge, she would do that for you, but there is an upcharge to do that for each stair riser. And I would question, because I think you said, what was the biggest one? 46? 46 minus 30 is 16, divided by 2 is 8. That's only 8 inches. That's only about that much. So that's not that much of bare spots showing. Betsy says, I did a good forward finish on my latest project and folded it backwards. Doesn't matter. I don't think it lays quite as nice. I think it lays nicer. Okay, here's the reason. Here's a piece of paper, right? If this is your backing and you fold it this way, what's on the back is nice and flat. When you fold it this way, then your backing has to go up right over it and then come back down. So it might not lay quite as nice, but if you've got it all the way done, don't mess with it, okay? Let it be. If you're living with it and then somewhere down the line it's starting to bug you, you can take out the whipping, take out the basting, and do it the other way. But that's the reason I go forward. is because it makes that bottom nice and flat. Heather says, just wanted to say you are a wealth of knowledge and I really appreciate all the information you share. I will be joining your rug cooking journey. Yay, thank you. The members of the rug cooking journey, if you don't know what Heather is talking about, when I do these lives, I don't know if you guys, can you hear the rain? I don't know if that picks up on the camera, but I'm pretty close to the porch and we have a metal roof and there's no ceiling in the porch. So when you're sitting close to the porch area, you can hear the rain. It's so cool. Now it's hitting the window, so now you might be able to hear it because it's like raining cats and dogs, like end of the world kind of raining. Okay, focus, Cindy. What were we talking about? We were talking about the rug cooking journey, and the rug cooking journey is a monthly subscription that you can join. You can pay every month, or you can pay for 6 months, or you can pay for a whole year. And every time you go longer, I give you a break in the price. What you can do, what I recommend if you're on the fence, you're really unsure, is roll the dice, take a chance on it for a month. And then if you like it, then go to your account. And in the sidebar, there's a link there to upgrade to yearly. When you do that, it will take and look at what you've already paid, how long you've been on the monthly plan, and take whatever money's left over and apply it to the yearly plan. Now, it gives you actually extra time because on a day-by-day basis, the monthly plan is more expensive per day. So you get a nice little break and it'll give you a credit on your yearly fee. And then you have a new renewal date. It becomes the new renewal date. But it has all the replays from all the live events that I've done going all the way back to 2016. Obviously, I've gotten better at this. So some of the earlier ones, but they are what they are. They're still good rug cooking information, even though the video production might not be as good as it is now. The other thing it has a course called The Basics, which basically is the basics. It has a little project called Little Flower. I don't remember all. You'll have to look at the information. Where you can go to learn more about it is at howtoRugHook.com, TRHJ, the rug cooking journey. And I just put the link in the comments. And what you might want to do is click on it so it opens up in a browser, because I'm probably not going to be saving this video. Okay, this is not going to be, something that we're going to save. This is just for you guys who showed up live. Sharon says, doing large rug of gleaners has a lot of straw fields. Would you hook similar to the way you do skies? It's a famous painting. Yes, I know that well. And I've seen it hooked a few times. You're going to have to really study the direction of the fields. When you look at it, do you see any kind of lines or do you see a flow in the fields? And then if you do, but there's nothing organized, it's just like grass would be, there's nothing organized, then I would do it like the video that was do not hook straight lines. Yeah. And that was Friday's video, which is inside the rug cooking journey. It's not edited yet, but that lesson will be edited and improved soon. Britt is here. Hey there. Linda's here. Jerry says, okay, that makes sense. Just not having them fill the space, kind of like framed. Right. Also, I don't plan to do more than a few rather than the flight. Yes, Jerry's talking about stair risers. And yeah, a lot of people like, oh, I don't want to hook that many. Well, don't. Hook one. Hook two. I started at the other house. I had split stairs where it came down to a landing and then it turned and it came down the other way. Well, the top part of the landing, you never would see them anyways. And eventually, if I had stair risers, I probably would eventually stick some up there. But I started at the landing at the top and just started working my way down. And as I got them, maybe one a year, sometimes 3 a year, I would just pop them up there. That's the way they go. So it's pretty. It's pretty just to have them there. Oh, Deborah, thank you. She says the rug cooking journey is awesome. Heather is here from Vancouver. April, no, you did not miss something. Yes, you read the email. The email does say Tuesdays and Fridays. I was just thinking, I've got some people that I watch on a regular basis. And if I hadn't read the email and I was expecting a lesson on Friday and that person wasn't there, I would be disappointed. So I would then I just decided to pop on and I'm doing a freebie questions and answers. So that's all. No, it's not Monday and Friday. It's going to be Tuesday and Friday. So heads up, another one tomorrow. And tomorrow's one will be planned. Tomorrow's lesson is getting started quick. I've had a lot of beginners ask me, what do I need to get started? You don't need much. You don't need much. They think they need, a fancy frame. They need a cutter. They don't. I'm going to break it down and sort of deliver a lesson of you can get started with this bare minimum stuff that you probably have sitting around the house and you can start rug cooking right away. So I'm going to do that lesson. And even if it doesn't pertain to you, it might help you get a friend started. Okay. So maybe there's a friend that you've thought, yeah, I really want to get her into rug cooking, but I don't have a spare frame to loan. Well, this might give you some tips on what to do with that. It's a stat holiday here in Canada. What's a stat holiday? I don't know what that is. Deborah says, stair risers really look cute over doorways. They do, or over windows, that type of thing. So Pat is saying, I don't have sound. Well, hopefully she's figured it out. It's down below. There might be you might have volume. Check the volume on the actual video because I think everybody else is hearing me. Can you use needlepoint wool to hook a small project? Sure. Absolutely. Make sure you have the right backing. Don't use primitive linen because the needlepoint yarn is so thin that if you pull that through a primitive linen, there's not going to be enough there to hold it. So your loops will fall out. But you could. Yeah, I'll often use that to augment. I've got some samples that are up above. And I'll do that way. Oh, that's what that means. It's a statutory holiday. I never heard that word before. Well, I've heard the word before, but we don't use it that way here as far as holidays. Victoria Day. Oh, happy Victoria Day to all you Canadians. I'm glad you're here. Any tips on booking suns? I'm assuming you meant hooking suns. And you're talking like sunshine. We only have one sun, and you mean the sun. If I've interpreted this wrong, Claudia, clarify it in the comments. But yeah, when you see the sun, hopefully you're working from a photograph. Hook what you see. This is a tip on how to hook anything. Hook what you see. Just really, really study it and look at it. And what do you see? Do you see probably a couple different values of yellow? You probably see a difference in the sky around the sun. Hook what you see and just be very, very, I can't think of the right word. Just, represent what is in that photograph in your rug cooking to the best of your ability and the best of your supplies. I'll often, when I'm doing things like that with the sun and I need subtle variations, rather than buying a whole swatch set of something, that's when I'll get into the dye pot and I'll play around with some marrying. And I'll put my yellow in there and I'll put a piece of several pieces of white in with it. And then I'll start pulling them out maybe a little bit early. So some of them don't get all the dye, that kind of a thing. Um, yeah, there's a lot of different things that you can do with that. But anything that you're wondering, how do I hook that? It's all about what does it actually look like. You could Google pictures of the sun if the reference picture you're working from does not show enough of what's going on. Try to find something that looks, now you're not allowed to take a photograph that you find on Google and copy it and hook a picture of that, because that photograph belongs to the photographer, right? But if you're looking for a reference, a sun is just a circle and you're looking for the coloring around it, right? Use that photograph as a reference to hook your sun and you'll have no problems with that. Helene is here. Helene is a regular at the Hookins. Nice to see you, Helene. Any other questions? What I'm doing, for those of you who might have arrived a little bit later, is I've been going live the last several weeks, since sometime in March, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And last week I said, okay, Wednesday and Thursday, I'm not going live, mainly because I was drowning. I was getting further and further and further behind. And it's like, okay, I've got to punch a hole in the schedule and give me some breathing room. So I punched out Wednesday and Thursday, but I have a lot of commitments on Monday. So I decided to just shift everything. So Tuesday and Friday is this live lesson. And then the day after those, Wednesday and Saturday, are the Hookins. And the Hookins are still free. They're open to everyone. All you need is to be able to attend a Zoom meeting. So if you've ever attended a Zoom meeting before, you got everything you need. All you need to do is to go to my website and on that homepage, go down and find the green bar. You'll have to click on some things, but find that green bar that says register here for the Zoom Hookin and fill in that information. It'll give you that link. Hang on to that link, copy it, put it in your contacts, put it in your calendar, which is where I recommend, and then set up an alarm for your calendar so you don't forget it. And then that way the alarm will come up. It'll say, oh, it's time for that. And you simply go to your calendar, open it up, and click on the link, and you're there. And it's really easy. That's how I attend the couple of Zoom meetings that I go to. I do have room. I think I haven't checked my email today yet, but I think I have room for one more person in the new live online workshop that we're going to be doing. I'm going to treat it just like a workshop, that if you were to come to the Holiday Inn and sign up for my workshop, and I'm teaching it at the Holiday Inn, it's going to be just like that, except I don't have the wool right there. But we can hold up things. I've got a better camera with some better colors, so I think that'll make that a little bit easier. We'll every week when we meet, we'll go around the room and everybody will talk about what they got done, what they want to do for the next week. We'll get them set up, and then they start hooking. The only major difference is in the beginning, there'll probably be a little bit of a computer lesson just to make sure everybody's up to speed. If you've never done Zoom before and you need your hand held, sign up. I will hold your hand. I will walk you through it and we will get you set up. If you can call me on the phone and you've got a computer with a camera, we can get you set up. Not an issue. Helene says, at the Hookin, have met so many amazing friends and it is so much fun. You know, Helene, I agree with that. I feel like we know you already. And it is just a joy to be able to see either people I haven't seen, in maybe a year, some of them many more years, or people that I've never met. And we're able to see what they're hooking, and they're able to, to come in and talk about their project. And we talk about some of the most non-rug hooking related things, right? Like, what was the big one? Apple pie moonshine, which evidently is very good, and I can't wait to try some of that. So yeah, that has been really amazing to be able to see people like that in a time when I can't go and just hang out with my girlfriends, or hang out with the people who usually sit at that table back here. So I'm going to help Marilyn out for a minute here. She says she cannot hear me, and when you can't hear on YouTube, it's going to be an issue with you more than likely. So is your volume up? Make sure the volume on the video is not muted. So hopefully that, because me saying it, she can't hear it. So hopefully that will get her figured out as far as that's going on. Any other questions? This is a time, if you got a question about the rug hooking journey or my practical color planning course, that is open right now to the public. The virtual die class is open to the public. The pencil pouch purse is open to the public, and you can sign up for that. I did find, I am personally out of stock on the pencil pouches, but I did find a location on Amazon. And I put that in the course, and you can click, I think I did, and you can click, I'll double check it, and you can click on that and order them from Amazon. I can't vouch for them yet, but they're coming tomorrow. So I'll be able to tell you if the quality is similar to what I've been doing. So Jean says, I so enjoy your videos since I recently discovered them. I missed part 2 of your Hooking a Sky. Will you be posting it? That one was live on Friday, and Friday lessons do not roam wild in public venue, okay? They are only inside the rug hooking journey. So Jean, unfortunately, in order to see the hooking part of that, you'll have to go to the lesson inside the rug hooking journey, or it's also covered in my book, Pine Trees, Grass, and Sky, but that is almost out of print. So I'm getting really low. I'm down below 25 copies of that. So that one's getting a little bit dicey. Heather says, how do you determine if a piece of wool is textured? It frays, and I would like to stay away from it. Textured wool, what I consider textured wool, has nothing to do with the feel or the weave of it. It has to do with what it looks like. Textured wool is anything that's not a flat solid. Okay, so and of course I don't have anything sitting around super close. All of these are textures. Okay, see if I can get the camera to come on, camera. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why the camera's not focusing. But here's a brown with a stripe. Here's one with, they're not bumpy wools. I personally don't prefer the bumpy, they'll call them blue clay. There's a time and place for that. I want workhorse wools. I want wools that I can use all day, every day for a ton of different things. A blue clay wool is one of those flashy kind of wools that you can only only use them kind of like now and then. You're not going to hook a background with it, for instance. So a textured wool is a wool that you just see. And my favorite kind are the kind that I can cut as small as a 3. I don't, because it turns it into a solid, but 5, 6s, yeah, you should be able to cut them larger. If you have a wool and you're cutting it and it's fraying and it's falling apart, I would guess that it is either recycled or is garment wool. It is not wool that was woven specifically for rug hooking. Okay. And you can use that kind of wool. You can use denim, you can use cotton, you can use, polar fleece, you can use whatever you want to hook with. But if you want a good quality experience, because for me, it's as much about the experience as it is the final product, then I want specifically designed wool that's been designed for rug hooking. And that's pretty much what I sell. If it's not what, if my wool is not that, it's because there was a special reason that it's something else. It was a special color or a special plaid or something along that line. So yeah, texture does not mean it frays. Okay. There are some solids that fray. You're just buying the wrong wool from the wrong source. Okay. Carol says, how can I join your class? If you're talking about that landscape workshop, just send me an email that you're interested. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to collect 7, 8, 9 names, and we'll get everybody together. We'll figure out what days everybody can meet. If we can get everybody in the class, everybody who's put up their hand, to be able to meet at the same time, then great. If not, we'll go with the majority, and then you pay. Okay, once you know when the time is and that type of thing. Okay, it's the only fair way I could think of to do it. April says, I used your link for the map pins. Thank you. They're great. I know. Isn't that awesome? If you don't know what April's talking about, map pins, there's these little teeny tiny pins. If you're in the rug hooking journey, it's peppered all over the place. Just go to the bottom on the search bar and type in map pins. MAP, like in Europe and Asia and Australia, map. It's a map pin. And you can buy them in different colors. And the exact ones I bought, I have a link for them there inside the rug hooking journey. And you can click that link. When you click that link, it is an affiliate link, which means I get a couple pennies for you buying, but it does not change your price at all. Catherine says, I have ordered pouches from Amazon and they are great. I use my purse every day. Perfect size, and I get lots of compliments. They are amazing, the pencil pouch purses. I mean, I wish I had a rock solid wholesale source for those so that I could have them all the time for the next 20 years. I love them for like little excursions with my husband. Like if we're going to like the antique store or something, I can just put the important stuff like my phone, my credit card, a handful of cash, a lipstick. I'm good to go. A bottle of water, so I always got to have something to drink. And it all fits. And well, this is the small one. Where's the big one? Where's my bigger one? Down here. This is the one we're talking about, the actual size of what we're talking about. This one just doesn't have its hooking on it yet, right? It'll get there someday. And what I love about these is that you could get a purse handle from an old purse and just clip it on here. You could, I put my hotel key in this pocket because when I'm ready to leave the room, I have this crossbody, and I just go, yeah, I got my key, let's go. And I'm good to go because I am notorious for leaving my key in the room because I'll go back to get wool and I'll set it on the table and then, yeah, that's where it's at. And then I have to tell my roommate that, yes, once again, this year, for the 20th year in a row, I've locked myself out of the room. And I think she looks forward to that every year. Oh, gosh. And Sharon's sort of testifying too. She says, receive pouches from Amazon. They seem like the same ones. Yay. Sonia says, a surprise. Can only stay a while. Haircut in a few minutes. Oh, you're one of the lucky ones. You're going to get your haircut. Yeah, and for those of you who might have just arrived, I am here today on Monday because from now on, I will not be here on Monday. But I have been, and I didn't want to leave those of you who show up regularly in the lurch. So what will happen is these live lessons will be Tuesday and Friday. Tuesday will be a public lesson, meaning they're both public, meaning if you come at 4 o'clock, you get to see it for free. The Tuesday one will stay as a repeat on YouTube. The Friday one goes into the rug hooking journey. And after all, it is the members of the rug hooking journey who make it possible for me to afford the cameras and the lights and all the stuff that I need to do this kind of a thing. They're the ones financing it. So they get some special videos that are just for them. You all can see them live, but if you want to see a repeat, you have to be in the rug cooking journey. Okay, Beverly says, Deanne Fitzpatrick is now dyeing velvet. Yeah, many people have been doing that for a while. I don't know what the fiber content is. Have you worked with velvet? I think there is a wool velvet. I know there's polyester velvet, but I think the ones most of the girls are working with is a wool velvet. I'm not 100% sure because I don't mess with that. Like I said, I like wools that are workhorses that I can use everywhere. Deb is saying, Mists of Avalon, a pale blue texture. Is it a pale blue texture? I believe so. Deb, do you have a number? I can show it to you because it's probably on my shelf if it's in my inventory list. What are the measurements of a fat quarter of wool? Is it consistent with all vendors? Well, unfortunately, no, mainly because a yard of wool on one bolt is not necessarily the same yard of bolt on the next one, okay? And if they've been washed and dyed, it's a whole nother ballgame because every wool is going to shrink a little bit differently. But generally what happens is a yard of wool is, well, let me show you. This is a yard of wool, right? And it comes off the bolt like this. Okay, minus this that little thing there that tells me once it's folded, it's on my shelf, I can see what number it is. So this is doubled, right? And here are the selvages at the bottom. And this is 36 inches long from one hand to the other. When I sell a fat half, I do not sell fat quarters. I sell fat halves. That's a fat half, one layer of this, okay? A fat quarter should be that, but everybody interprets that a little bit less, okay? What you don't want is you don't want someone selling you a half yard and it's a half, the selvage, you only get 18 inches worth of selvage. And that would be one way to ask the question. How long is the selvage edge? If it's a half yard and that selvage edge is 36 inches, then you're getting a fat half, okay? And it'd be the same way for a quarter. How long's the selvage edge? If it's 36 inches long, you're getting what in my definition is a fat quarter. But unfortunately, no, there's not like an industry rule on that. And everybody does that a little bit. I've heard one person sell a fat quarter. They cut a half a yard off of the bolt and then they cut that in half. And yeah, in quilting terms, that is a fat quarter. But for rug cooking, it's kind of worthless because your strips are only 18 inches long. I want a nice long yard strip. So yeah, you'll have to ask a vendor what is their, method. How do they do that? Carol says, is there a way to use wool material for finishing a rug? I am ready to finish, but because of isolation, cannot get to a store to buy yarn. Yes, Carol, you can do the fold forward finish, and then you can whip the edge with cut strips. I personally don't do that because that makes me crazy. I would go online and I would buy something online first before I did that. The other thing that you can do is you could do a Michigan finish, which is on the schedule for a week. No, on the schedule this week for Friday. Let me make sure I'm looking at the right one. No, it's next week. It's on schedule for next week. The mock finish, or what I call the Michigan finish, but no one knows what I'm talking about. A mock finish is, let me see if I can find. And whenever you're trying a new finish, make a little sampler like these. Don't try to do a finish raw without doing, do a 4x4 coaster and then do the finish on that so you have it as a test. And you can even do it like I did it. Don't even finish it all the way, so that way you can pull it apart and take a look at it. This has a strip of a 3-inch strip. This camera's not focused, but I can't do that at the same time. A 3-inch strip of wool with a piece of cording. Cording's from Walmart. You can order it online. It can be sent to your home. And then it is sewn to the edge. Now, the girls in Michigan fold this back and then sew that on. Holy cow. You talk about crazy. That is way too much work. Okay, so what you do, this is really, really easy, is you take this and you stitch it. You just push it up against that, and a week from Friday, I will be doing this lesson and you'll be able to see it in detail. But you just take this edge and you put it up there, you stitch that down, and then you've got a little bit of space there to hook in. And you just do a couple more rows of hooking. If your design won't tolerate a couple more rows of hooking, then you do what I did on the Village of Pemberville. You rip out 2 rows, stitch it down, and then hook them back in. That was way easier than trying to get this to get tight enough against that so no backing shows. Where when you do it the other way, it's easy peasy. So I've always said I would rather do something that might take slightly longer, but it's pleasant, than to do something for a shorter time, but it's miserable the entire time. I don't want to be miserable, not even for a short time. So I would rather stretch it out, have it be pleasant. It takes me a little bit longer, but that's okay. So hopefully, Carol, that works. B8, Mist of Avalon. I don't think I have, I think I might only have 1 yard of that. This is it. It's got like a subtle stripe to it. But yeah, it's, and I don't know how many's in the inventory, but I don't think there's many on that one. But hopefully that, what do you use to cut your wool strips? You can use anything from this to a fancy cutter. The only cutter I recommend, it's a style rather than a brand, and it's the Townsend Style Cutter, which is now made by Beeline and by Alt, A-U-L-T. The Alt cutter is slightly cheaper. So, but not much. I mean, we're talking that much money. We're not talking much money. But if you need to cut strips, what's wrong with these? Come on, people. Although, these are great, okay, but those are awfully small. This is my luxury. These are Tim Holtz scissors because my fingers fit, okay? But if I were to cut wool, okay, you can cut wool. Let me see, do I have a piece? Let me grab a piece of my favorite yellow because I know I will be using more of this, so I don't mind cutting up a piece. Okay. So first off, when you go to a cutter, if you've got a fancy cutter, you never, ever, ever take anything bigger than this wide because it's going to mess up. Do it the easy way, just a nice little strip. So, and this is a 1/16 of a yard, and on my website, I sell strips, and that's what a 1/16 of a yard is. Why can't, I mean, we get so bent up over these the fancy equipment. Why can't we, you can take this one or you can take the smaller ones, and you just cut it this way. Just make sure with these you don't cut your fingers. These are so sharp that you could do some serious damage. I guess I'd usually use the bigger ones, so I guess I would go back to using the bigger ones. And you end up with a weird little strip. I would use this. I would use this all day. Let's try another one. And you just eyeball the size. There we go. At least that one's complete. Voila, hook with it. Okay? Adds a little bit extra texture because not all the loops are exactly the same size. We get so focused on it's got to be perfect. I think this is more perfect than something cut and perfectly in the loops pulled up. Cut it like this. Pull up the loops a little bit twisted. That'll have more charm than something that's done quote unquote perfectly. Just saying. Yay, Michelle is here. She says she's a first-time viewer. Well, Michelle, the reason I am here is because I have been here on Mondays for the last several weeks because when the COVID crisis started, I started going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I got overloaded. And so last week I cut off and I cut the middle one out. And so the plan was to go Monday and Friday. But the more I looked at my schedule, the more I thought long term that's not going to work for me. So I'm going to go Tuesday and Friday. So Tuesday and Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, mark your calendar. I will be here on YouTube. Now the replays from the Tuesday will stay on YouTube, but the replays from Friday's lesson will be only available inside the Rug Cooking Journey. But live, anybody can attend. So, and then in addition to that, the day after the live, so it would be Wednesday and Saturday, I am doing a live hook-in using Zoom. So now I can say Zoom and almost the entire world knows what I'm talking about, right? And it's where you see everybody in all the little boxes, right? And you can turn on your microphones and you can all talk. And yeah, it gets a little chaos. And when it does, I just mute everybody and we start over. And then you can unmute your microphone as you see fit so that you can talk. But in this time when we haven't had a chance to gather, we haven't had a chance to sit with our girlfriends and laugh and carry on and talk about silly things like apple pie moonshine, that's when it becomes fun. So that'll happen on Wednesday. Those also start at 4. Saturday has sometimes become a little bit of a marathon. So if you can't be there right at 4 and it's now 5 o'clock and you think, oh, it's over, it's probably not. Okay? The hook-ins tend to last about 90 minutes, but they've lasted as long as 5.5 hours. Yes, one day I had a migraine and basically Kim and Helene took over for me and they ran the show until 9:30 at night from 4 o'clock. And then just this past Saturday, we went till 9. We had plenty to talk about. We were having fun. I didn't shut it down. So even though you can't be there right at the scheduled time, make sure you pop in, if you're interested, because we might still just be there. Okay? And you're free to come and go however you want. Yes, Michelle, we hope to see you. Okay. I don't see any more questions, and I think I've caught anybody who might have shown up at 4 o'clock to come to the lesson. Thank you for being here. This is just a small taste of what I normally do. I normally have a prepared lesson, and I'll do the prepared lesson, and then answer questions about that lesson. The first Friday of every month, oh, I might have to rethink when the mock finish happens, because the first Friday of every month is an open question and answer. Yeah, I might have to rethink that schedule. I know I told you all a week from Friday is the mock finish. It might be just a matter of me making it a week from Tuesday and making it earlier. Sharon says, love the Hookin. I don't talk much, but it is fun and funny at times. Yeah. Yep, that's it. Yeah, it's fun. I hope to see you guys there. That's it. Oh, one other thing that you might want to take note of, even though I'm almost finishing, on the screen there where you're at in YouTube, there is something called a super chat, and it's a little gray dollar sign. If you click on that, yes, there's a price involved, but you decide what price you want to pay. You pay a price, and it can be just a little bit to, whatever you think, it's like a tip kind of a thing. But what it does is it highlights your comment. I'll drop what I'm doing and I answer your question at that moment. So just remember that for the next time, right? Tomorrow we're going to be here again. So that's it, everybody. I think I remembered everything. And I will see you all tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Bye for now.